Everyone, Wayne here, and it is my birthday today, June 18th, and I've miraculously somehow made it through 38 years of life. When I was younger, I used to always say, I'll be lucky if I make it to 20, because I already, by the age of 15, was taking risks that most people should not be taking, despite the fact that I really didn't have any good purpose for taking those risks. I'll tell you about those risks on some other day. But on this live stream, I wanted to talk about a miraculous, astounding, beautiful birthday present I was given a few years ago, a birthday present that's changed my life. And it's a birthday present that all of us, frankly, can give and get for ourselves on our birthday. So I think it's really important for all of you to hear about this particular story, because there's so many things you can buy, vacations you can go on for your birthday. And frankly, at the end of our lives, those things don't matter. But this birthday present is something that is beyond human value. It's beyond material worth. It's beyond, frankly, my own imagination. It's something I was able to get a couple years ago, and here it is right now, a Wayne's World hat. I am blown away by this Wayne's World hat. I got it. No, I'm just kidding. It's not actually this present. It's not. The beautiful, miraculous birthday present is not a Wayne's World hat. In fact, most of you probably could get a Wayne's World hat. But having said that, this Wayne's World hat is amazing. I've never had a Wayne's World hat before. And my good friend Shiloh, who many of you may have thought was just a social media figment of our imagination, is in fact real. And I'll prove it to you because she's right here. And she's the one who got me this amazing Wayne's World hat. Look at this. Wayne's World. This entire world is mine. Every time I wear this hat, I'm going to wear it right now. I can go around and tell everyone, this world is mine. I own the world because it says so on my hat. So what do y'all think? Does this prove that it's Wayne's World? No, it doesn't actually prove anything. But for those of you who don't know, the last few weeks have been utterly absurd. Getting swept up on the street by a bunch of cops at a massive duck slaughterhouse, passing the fur ban in the state assembly, working with an ex-pig farmer to advocate for animals, even in places like North Carolina, where there are millions and tens of millions of animals who go through slaughter and torment and abuse that we could only imagine. But all of this has led up to, frankly, probably the best birthday of my life. I cannot hope for a better birthday than a movement that's rising across the world. And you all seeing the stuff that's happening in Australia, in Spain, in Mexico, in Vancouver. Across the world, there is a movement rising to fight for animal rights. And not only does this mean that our numbers will continue to increase, and they will, because if you saw the acts of the ALC this year, we had the largest march probably in Dixie history, the largest mass open rescue in Dixie history happened, the largest mass arrest in Dixie history, in the animal rights movement's history, all unfold in the last couple of weeks. But we're starting to change the halls of power too. And you all have probably heard, and you all know that we're about to ban fur in the state of California. I'm also hearing through the grapevine that there is serious consideration for a possible right to rescue law at the state, local, or maybe even federal level. That our politicians are now starting to recognize the message we've been giving the world for the past 6 years, frankly, since DXE started, that animals are not things, they're not commodities or pieces of garbage to be thrown away, but living creatures who deserve to be rescued and deserve the right to be rescued, just like a human being who's collapsed on the ground, suffering some sort of ailment. And that is an amazing birthday gift. But I want to specifically talk about something that happened to me a couple of years ago. And many of you have heard me tell this story, but I haven't told you one aspect of it, which is that it unfolded on my birthday. And the story is this little guy's story. And let me show you all. Hey, buddy. How are you? So Oliver is a dog who was rescued from a dog meat farm. And he's my little guy. He was not able to see me over the last couple of days because until last night I was in Southern California doing some workshops and talks, meeting with some folks who wanted to do a documentary about DXE. But 3 years ago in 2016, right around this time, Oliver got to celebrate his first birthday with me on June 18, 2016. And the only reason he was able to get out of that slaughterhouse and farm where he was going to be brutally beaten to death with a metal pole and then eaten at the Ealing Dog Meat Festival, which is going to be unfolding in the next couple of weeks, was because of people like you. Because we went into a slaughterhouse in a farm in Ealing, China. We put in secret cameras, got 3 of the dogs out, but for reasons that I'll go into in a bit, they found our secret cameras. They put together a sting and had a number of slaughterhouse workers and dog meat traders waiting for us. They grabbed us off the street, and there's a guy with a metal pipe just hitting it against his hand. They shoved my face in the ground, broke my glasses, kicked me in the head, kicked me in the torso, left bruises all over my ribs and my head and my face, cuts on my neck. And it was all because they didn't want the world to know what was happening at this horrible dog meat festival where tens of thousands of dogs are brutally slaughtered and killed for their flesh to be eaten. And when the Yiling police arrested us and threatened us with espionage charges and locked this poor little guy in a bathroom by himself, and it was so scary for him and his two brothers because they were trapped in a tiny little bathroom. I had to bribe the person at the inn who was housing us to feed them. We had no idea if we were ever going to see them again. We have no idea if they were going to be dragged off by the police and killed. But the only reason we were able to get these guys out was because we had built, by 2016, a huge grassroots following of thousands of people that the Chinese government understood at that time. They could not put us in prison. They cannot kill our dogs without doing huge damage to the brand and reputation of China. And while they don't care about their reputation and popularity for their own sake, what they do care about is tourism revenue. They care about trade deals. They care about commerce. And they knew that if they sent someone to prison for rescuing dogs from slaughter, if they sent someone to prison for exposing the cruelty to animals happening in the slaughterhouses of Yiling, then China would never recover from that. And instead, what they did was they released us, they gave us back the dogs, and we came home just a few weeks later in May. And on my 35th birthday, for the first time in my life, I had a redemption because for, frankly, 20 plus years, I've been waiting to go back to my home country of China, to go back to southern China where my family was from, and rescue dogs from the dog meat trade because I'd seen dogs being beaten to death when I was 8 years old, going back to China for the first time. And it was a redemption for me. It was a redemption, frankly, for the entire animal rights movement, which for years had been seeing these dogs brutally abused. We had been seeing these photos and videos streaming in from Yiling, China. We had been horrified by what was being seen. But until 2016, no one had gotten footage inside of a dog meat slaughterhouse. No one had rescued a dog from a dog meat slaughterhouse and been featured on national television, and that's what happened. And just in the weeks after the DXC Forum 2016, which was what we used to call the Animal Liberation Conference, this little guy, Oliver, who's so sleepy and so peaceful right now, got to go on national television on ABC's Nightline. And within 1 year, a congressperson in the Chinese Communist Party for the first time announced that they were planning to propose a ban on dog meat across the entire nation of China. Now, that hasn't happened yet. And we still have a lot to do to fight for the rights of dogs in China, for the rights of pigs, cows, and chickens in the United States. But what it showed me in 2016, and this is the reason it was such a beautiful birthday gift, was this movement has immense power. Even 3 people. There are just 3 of us on the ground there in China. Even 3 people who have the training and the guts, the equipment, and the connections in the media to get this issue onto the table can make immense change. But it doesn't take just 3 people to really ensure this movement has the power it needs to create enduring change. It takes a movement. It takes people across the world chipping in whatever way they can. And when we got back from China, we had press people, including volunteers in New York who I'd never even talked to, putting us in touch with ABC News in New York City. We got to go actually to ABC News, World News, the anchor desk, and hang out there and meet all the anchors and everything. It took people who helped us with animal care to care for these poor dogs after we rescued them. It took people on our legal team advocating for us legally and calling the embassy of the United States of America and the embassy of China to ensure that when we were sitting in a Chinese jail and our dogs were sitting trapped in a bathroom, that our story would not be forgotten and we'd get the legal support we needed. It took, in short, a movement of people of all different capacities, of all different skill sets, sacrificing in various ways for us to get this gift. And he is a gift. Every day when I wake up in the morning, I see this little guy and I say to myself, life is a miracle, the world is good, and the world is changing. Because all that is unfolded in his life. I mean, look at this little guy and his pink nose. Can you believe he was moments from having his skull beaten in with a metal rod and then having his body dragged off to a slaughterhouse? I mean, that's just vile. It's unbelievable, and it's nightmarish. And this guy is the happiest little kid in the world now. Right, buddy? Are you happy? Look at his little ears. Are you happy, buddy? He's the happiest little guy in the world only because we built that movement together, and you're continuing to help us build that. And I think to myself of the 20 million or 30 million dogs, it's very difficult to estimate that are killed every year in China. I think of the 100 million pigs that are killed in the United States. I think of the 50 billion land animals that are killed in the United States, just going through awful torment and abuse that we can only imagine. And frankly, it's even hard for us to imagine. I think about a world where every one of those little creatures is given a happy life, is allowed to smile and have a family and a papa who loves them dearly. And I know it's worth anything. It's worth everything. It's worth devoting a life to. And that's why I've devoted my life to fighting for animal rights, and why I'm so excited and proud to have supporters like you, because every one of you is chipping in even a little bit to the birthday fundraiser, sharing live streams like this. And if you can share this live stream, I'd ask Shiloh to share the live stream, but she's sitting right next to me petting my cat. So she doesn't need to be told to share the live stream because she's already here, I'm sure, sharing the live stream. But these little miracles, we can tell more miraculous stories like this, but only because of people like you. I'm seeing Susan Song, who's been a huge supporter of ours. Aprajita saying, oh my God, this is so touching. Oliver looks so much like Salt. Salt is AP's little dog. I'm seeing Stephanie Lund saying you're inspirational, and that's the point. You inspire people who think they are small and can't make a difference to be part of the huge change. Laura Ray in Boston is saying the story is different. My 2 dogs were in a high kill shelter. Thank God I was able to rescue them. And there are little miracles happening all the time. And we have to see that we have the power to make miracles. And I saw so many dogs over that 2-week period when I was in China investigating slaughterhouses. I saw so many dogs getting beaten, getting dragged off the slaughter, having their throats slit. And it was honestly just one of the most nightmarish experiences of my life. I was staying up until 4 or 5 a.m., sleeping a couple hours, going out and fetching our cameras, going back out in the field, trying to figure out where all the different slaughterhouses and farms were, and then rinsing and repeating. And I had to sit in a latrine, basically a latrine outside of a dog meat slaughterhouse, and cower, sometimes for 4 or 5 hours, because we needed to sneak into the slaughterhouse market before they actually shut down, because the gates would close. And so I'd have to be standing there and sitting there and waiting for 4 or 5 hours in the midst of so much manure and feces from the slaughterhouse that was emanating, chemicals and blood and corpses and feces and manure from 100, 200 dogs that were being beaten to death every single day. And then I have to hop onto a window, climb up there, and reposition these secret cameras over the slaughterhouse through these little windows. And it was complete darkness, so I could barely even see what I was doing. And every time I turned the light on, I was afraid I'd get caught, and I did get caught. And notwithstanding the fact that I got caught, Julian got caught, notwithstanding the fact that we got roughed up and beaten up, we were able to get our cameras out. We were able to get these 3 little guys out. And it was all because of people like you stepping up and deciding you wanted to make a difference for animals. And you can make a difference. So whether it's a fur ban, whether it's the increasing awareness about factory farms and slaughterhouses, whether it's the end of the dog meat trade, we can make all these dreams come true. We just have to see the power we have in our hands. And so what I want to ask all of you to do is, first, if you can, chip into my birthday fundraiser. And I know many of you already have. So every bit counts. So whether it's $1, $100, whatever amount you can give, it makes a huge difference to me, especially as I face these trials, because later this year I'm going to trial in Utah in November and December, right before the holiday season. Trial in California will probably happen before then, North Carolina right after. Cumulatively, I'm currently facing 15 felonies. That's going to go up for merely trying to assist animals who are facing incredible and grotesque torment. And I know that this network and this movement will be left in good hands as long as we have the financial support, the human resources, the social support that all the actives who are going to be left out here on the outside need. And all of you can be a part of that. Just chipping in a little bit would make a big difference. You can go to dxe.io/birthday, dxe.io/birthday, and chip in my birthday fundraiser. But beyond that, I'm just hoping all of you, and Oliver just went upstairs. He's very vigilant. Buddy, what are you vigilant about, huh? Did you see something up here that you like? He's like, Papa, I think I saw something kind of interesting out there. And look at this guard dog. Look at that face. Is that the face of a vigilant guard dog? You think he's dangerous, but he's actually a big baby. Every time someone comes in the house, he has a mean bark, and the moment they get close to him, he just runs away because he's a big baby. Are you Papa's big baby? Mwah! Big baby. But as I was saying, even beyond, whatever you can contribute to this birthday fundraiser, think for this year about what you can give the animals. Because the best gift you can get, frankly, is to give to a cause that you care about, whether that's financially, whether that's with your time, whether that's with your freedom. And I know there isn't a day in my life that I regret all the risks we took to save this little guy, because I get to wake up to this little miracle. And frankly, even if I am in prison and I don't get to see him for a couple of years, frankly, even if I don't get to see him for the rest of my life, he laid down on my knee. Buddy. Even if I never get to see him again, which is possible if I go to prison. And it's honestly one of the most dreadful and scary possibilities for me. He's getting kind of angry. He's opening his mean mouth. He's trying to show how tough he is. Buddy, are you tough? Look how tough he is. Look how tough that dog is. Are you tough, buddy? Mwah. Sometimes we play bite each other. He's going to bite. Oh, you just bit my chin. Buddy, you can't bite people. You want a toy? He wants his rope bone. You want your rope bone? He's like, no, Dad. I'm trying to do cool stuff on live stream. That's not cool. That's what little puppies do. I'm not a puppy. I'm an adult dog now. I'm 3 years old. I don't play with toy bones anymore. He's like, Papa, no, I don't play with toy bones. You want to play with toy bone? No. He's too big for that now. All right, well, he's just going to get hugged from his papa then. But what I'm saying is the best gift you can give is to know that your life is filled with purpose and joy and love. And this gift I got 3 years ago, waking up on my birthday, seeing this little guy rolling around on my bed, chewing in my hand. And he's such a gentle guy. Many of you know this story, that when we pulled him out of the dog meat farm and picked him up for the first time, he was so scared and terrified because he had seen so many dogs getting beaten to death that he bit me as hard as he possibly could. He took this, these big dog teeth. Show us your teeth, Oliver. Look at those big dog teeth he's got. He's got big, scary dog teeth, and he bit me as hard as he possibly could. He was like, chomp! And he grabbed my arm. And I thought to myself, oh my God, this is going to be bad. This dog is biting me as hard as he possibly can. And he was such a gentle little dude that he couldn't even break my skin. And that remains the day today. Like, that remains the same today. That even to this day, whenever this guy tries to bite me, he fails because he's so gentle. And there's so many other gentle souls in animal agriculture, in exploiting facilities, who are in exactly the same situation as Oliver. Oliver, right? Aren't you a gentle guy? Look how gentle this guy is. They're little gentle creatures who are being absolutely brutalized by an industry that has no compassion, empathy, and is destroying, frankly, all life on this earth. And the best gift we can give ourselves, our world, those we love most, is to preserve a better future for all of us. So, anyways, help out however you can today. Share this live stream. Chip into my birthday fundraiser. Go fight for animal rights. I know today I'm going to be putting together some scripts. I've been talking to some documentary makers. One thing that's really cool about my trip to LA. So we met with some major motion picture folks in Hollywood about the possibility of making a DXE documentary and really blowing up the story of Lily, of Oliver, all these animals who are being brutalized, who are rescued, and then the activists who rescue them are being severely punished for merely having some compassion for animals who are suffering from abuse. So this story is going to go viral, but it's going to go even more viral if you help us tell these stories. And all of you can help in some way, whether it's sharing a live stream, doing a little live stream yourself, chipping into a fundraiser, going to a protest, rescuing an animal, doing open rescue yourself. All these things are possible when we see the power that's in our hands. So I don't have a whole lot else to say. Does anyone else have any other questions for me? Tom Cotty is asking what breed is Oliver. Oliver is a dog that in China we call Tugo. Tugo literally means earth dog. And what it basically really means is a dog of this area, of this land. And he looks a lot like a Korean Jindo, which is probably the most common breed of dog used for dog meat in Korea. So we think they're a similar breed to Korean Jindos, but we can't say for sure. Kelly Landreth is saying that Oliver maintains his regal demeanor at all times. He does, doesn't he? Doesn't he look like some sort of Roman wolf? Like some sort of guard dog? Which is why you might think he makes for a good guard dog, but he's actually a terrible guard dog because while he has a mean bark, he is such a sweet guy that when he tries to bite you, all he does is he just kind of touches your skin just a little bit and never even is able to scratch your skin because he's so gentle. And he's the same with my cat, with other dogs. He's a big wimp in the dog park, so I had to stop taking him to the dog park because he always gets bullied by the other dogs. And he runs away in terror once the other dogs get angry because he's such a big baby with his pink nose. Seeing if there are any other questions. Susan Song is saying, yes, I see Jindo for sure. And Susan, by the way, I'm really sorry I didn't get to hang out with you post-ALC. Susan is a huge advocate. That's like a parakeet, except it's an advocate. She's a bird-like creature. No, Susan's not a bird-like creature. Actually, Susan, you are bird-like because you're beautiful, you're sonorous, you're compassionate, just like a bird. So you are an advocate, like a parakeet. No, you're an advocate for dogs in the dog meat trade. And Susan and I were supposed to hang out on the Tuesday after ALC, but Shiloh is like nodding because she knows what happened on the Tuesday after ALC was I was in jail unexpectedly. So I'm really sorry, Susan. I was not able to hang out with you. We got to hang out at some point. The good thing is, I'm hoping to come to the East Coast at least once before I go to trial because I want to see some friends and some family I have on the East Coast. And hopefully I can do some activism out there too. And maybe, Susan, we can catch up then because you have been an amazing support of ours. And you are, in fact, my activist mom. I have a few activist moms who basically act as my surrogate mother. And many of you know my mom, unfortunately, She passed away a couple of years, but I'm blessed to have a number of individuals. Susan, you can't be my activist mom. You're like 2 years older than me. That doesn't make any sense. So Susan's like my activist sister, because Susan's like, she's got to be like 41 and I'm 38. So Susan, you're my active sister. Linfa is saying happy birthday, many more than the sight of jail. For sure. Let's hope I have at least a few other birthdays. And one of the sad things is if I actually lose in all these cases and they give me the maximum sentence, I could spend the rest of my life in prison. And so this could be my last birthday outside of jail. But, you got to do what you got to do for the animals. And I'm willing to sacrifice. And again, I know that if I hadn't done the things I'd done, then little guys like Oliver might still be in a slaughterhouse. Or actually, he wouldn't be. He'd already be dead. And, I am happy to trade 20 to 30 years of my life in jail for even 1 year of this guy getting his freedom. Because I just know how scared he was. He was so scared in there. He was covered in mange. He had lived in a concrete pen his entire life. And now he gets to sit in Berkeley, go on walks in the Berkeley Hills, have lots of friends like his brother Joan and his sister Lisa and his papa Wayne. And he has such a happy life. Good boy, good boy. Oh, did y'all hear that? Good boy. Did you hear that? What a good buddy he is. He loves his pop and he loves giving hugs to his pop. You love getting hugs from your pop? Mwah. So I just think about, that trade, right? That even if I had to spend the next 40 years of my life in prison, which again, it's unlikely because I think we're going to win some of these cases. And one of the reasons we're going to win these cases is we get support from people like you, so we can get some ace lawyers, like really top-notch lawyers, expert witnesses who are going to bring the case against animal agriculture and animal abuse to the court of law. But even if I do lose, say I do lose, and I spend 30 years in jail and I never have another birthday outside of prison, it was worth it. Because we've saved hundreds and hundreds of animals together. I mean, last year alone, I think the number is 176 animals, right? We've saved so many animals from a life worse than death. And these animals, for them, we've given them everything. You've helped us give them everything. And that's the best gift anyone can ask for. So, anyways, I'm seeing Bradley James Cook is asking if press.directafter.com is the best place to send an email. That is a great place to send an email if you have any press work. So feel free to send an email there. You can also send me an email at wayne@directactionever.com. Stephanie Lund is saying I trade mine too. And I know so many people would be willing to trade even their life to protect these animals from torment because they go through so much horror, so much violence, so much cruelty. Bradley James Cook is saying, Wayne, if you go to jail, I promise I'll lobby whoever becomes the foreign secretary in the new cabinet for your release, but I don't think we'll have to come to that. That'd be great. I'd love for you to lobby for my release. I'd feel like I'd be sort of a human rights prisoner, not even an animal rights prisoner, because if they lock me up for engaging in lawful behavior, and again, we have strong legal arguments for every single rescue we've done. The industry falsely accuses us of criminality and terrorism when under 597E of the California Penal Code, we frankly have the right to walk into these places and take the animals out. Same is true in Utah, North Carolina, and these other states where I'm facing felony charges. We've gotten great legal advice, and we feel confident we can win these cases. But on the other hand, money talks. It's just one of the sad truths of this world that money still talks. And we're going against a company in Smithfield that is a $7 billion company. Or I should say, it used to be a $7 billion company. Now it's a $100 billion company because it was bought out by WH Group. And one of the shocking things I learned recently is all these subsidies that are going to Smithfield, propping up this company that is destroying the environment, torturing and brutalizing its own workers, and obviously killing animals. The CEO of this company is a Chinese government bureaucrat who made $196 million just last year. So all this money from your tax funds, your tax payments are going to the U.S. government that is then subsidizing Smithfield to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars. And that was the Washington Post did an analysis showing that Smithfield alone benefits to the tune of something like, I think it was like $500 million from these subsidies. And guess who's getting that $500 million? Basically one rich guy in China. So you have to ask yourself, if you think your taxpayer dollars, your hard-earned cash that you're working for, should be going to make one of the richest men in China richer. and again, I said this before, but animal ag is one of the few industries where you can be a multi-millionaire and still get welfare payments. So instead of sending all that money in taxpayer dollars to helping suffering animals like this guy. Buddy, why'd you get scared? He gets scared so easily. Come here. Come back here on Facebook Live. Buddy, come on. Wag your tail? Are you happy to see your pops? I knew your Pops is gone for like 5 whole days. 5 days without your Pops. And now he's back home. I know, good boy. Good boy. He loves his Pops. Good boy, buddy. Good boy. Oh, he wants to fight now. He's getting kind of aggressive. He's like, Pops, I'm going to fight you. Let's see if he bites me. Mwah. Buddy, you want to bite? Sometimes he bites me if I growl at him. No, he doesn't want to bite. Anyways, you have to ask yourself, should your taxpayer dollars be going to make the richest or one of the richest men in China richer? Or should they be going to protecting animals like Oliver? And I think all of us know the answer to that question. Frankly, it doesn't matter if you're a vegan or vegetarian animal rights activist. If the choice is between sending millions of dollars to the richest man in China or to help a dog who's suffering or a pig who's trapped in a cage, why in heck would we possibly send that money to the richest man in China? Yeah, that's the way our government is working right now. That's got to change. The next election season, we've got big plans. And part of that is building a powerful political movement that holds our politicians accountable to ensure that when they send money to the richest man in China, instead of to poor kids in the United States or poor animals across the world who are being abused by those same corporations that are getting those corporate welfare payments, that they're held accountable. So anyways, last thing I think the fundraising team wanted me to say is just providing you a little transparency about where the money for these funds, if you're donating to my fundraiser, where does this money go to? Well, you can roughly think about the money going into 3 buckets. One is a third goes into real estate and training and developing activists through things like the Community Center for Animal Rights that's in Berkeley, California, the Animal Liberation Conference. So we spend hundreds of thousands of dollars. I think the ALC alone is a huge expenditure. We train 1,000 activists, and it has huge payoffs. Massive media attention from the actions we do there. Activists trained around the world, but it's a huge payoff, or a huge cost in addition to a huge payoff. And we think it's crucial to the movement's long-term growth that we bring people together into the same physical spaces and share with each other how to make change for animals. So another third goes to fellows. There's about, I think it's 12 fellows that are awarded by Friends of DXE who are intrinsically motivated activists, people like Priya Sohani, Almira Tanner, Cassie King. Many of you have seen the actions they've done, the work they do, rescuing animals, exposing cruelty, challenging some of those powerful people in the world like Jeff Bezos. And these folks have committed their lives, in most cases their freedom, for the animals. And they get $35,000 fellowship stipends that are awards. They just get the money to do whatever they want with that money. But they're so intrinsically motivated, we believe that with the small amount of money that allows them not to worry about their living expenses, they can do immense good for animals, and that's what they do. And the third thing is major projects of various sorts. So we pay for animal care for animals who are rescued. We edit videos and pitch, these incredible exposés to journalists like Amy Goodman at Democracy Now! Whenever we get footage from whistleblowers, we immediately have to package that. We have to defend those whistleblowers. We have to pay for the animal care. And so about a third of our budget goes to that. And that's roughly the 3 buckets that the money goes to. And all 3 of these buckets are going to be even more crucial if and when, and I hate to say it, but I think it's going to be when, not if, when I go to prison. And so my birthday is just a great time and a great moment for us to raise some funds for these 3 different areas. And I want to point out that I personally haven't received any fellowship money in the past. All the money I've received has been given back to DXE, whether as a lawyer or as reimbursements for various expenses. But many of you know I was a corporate lawyer for 5 years, and actually 7 or 8 years, because I was still a corporate lawyer for the first 3 or 4 years of DXE's history, and my firm had to shutter itself last year because this was kind of taking over my life. My partners weren't too happy about having someone who had 15 felonies in their law firm. So that's kind of my history, and I personally given all my funds away, not just to DXE, but the Good Food Institute, PETA, Last Chance for Animals, all these different organizations. They're all worthy causes. But if you have some money and you want to chip in for our work at DXE, we do have a unique role in this movement in pushing forward the agenda of the movement, pushing forward the actives in the movement to new frontiers. So we're out there on the front lines, challenging the industry face to face at the very place where the animals are being tortured. And I think that's so crucial to creating the change that we all want to see. And I think my cat Joan agrees. Do you agree, Joan? What do you think, Joan? Joan's like, I'm gonna walk right into this live stream and distract everyone with my beautiful face because I am a pretty cat and I deserve to be acknowledged as a beautiful cat. Well, you are, in fact, a beautiful cat, Joan. And I think that's all I have to say. So, any other questions or comments for me? Tyler Everett is sharing. Thank you very much. Debbie Eckles is saying perfect use of funds. Excellent. Shalom is sharing the birthday fundraiser. Thank you very much. Morgan Hamilton is saying projects 3 major projects for the 3 buckets. Help Wayne, help the animals. Thank you very much, Morgan. Laura Ray, an amazing activist in Boston, is saying definitely good causes. Maria Garcia is asking, Wayne, why don't you run for Congress? I would vote for you. Thank you so much, Maria. That's so nice of you. The problem is, I think you're not allowed to be in Congress if you're in prison. And I think in the next year, I'm more likely to be in prison, unfortunately, than in Congress. But if I'm acquitted, I may consider running because you asked me to. And of course, there's immense change we can make as political officials, but there's also immense change we can make as ordinary people and grassroots activists. And that's what we really believe in DXC, that everyone has the power to change the world. Susan is saying, my husband and I will make it out to Berkeley again soon to hang out with you and Oliver. Keep out of jail till then. Susan, you have until November. So I'm going to tell you right now, come before November so we can hang out and I can introduce you to Oliver, because we were supposed to hang out on Tuesday night. It didn't happen because I was in jail. Hopefully next time you come, I don't end up in jail again. That would not be good. Tyler Scott Williams is saying happy birthday. Thank you very much, Tyler. Tom Cotty is saying money talks, but what's more powerful is the cold, hard truth. You are absolutely right. Debbie Eckles is saying Smithfield is a complete disgrace. It is a disgrace. And frankly, it's a disgrace even for the employees at Smithfield and the CEO of Smithfield, because these people at WH Group or at Smithfield, they don't realize what they're doing to their own planet, to their own children's future. And if they did realize it, if they acknowledged and reckoned with the truth, they would realize that we're going to help them. By shutting down the slaughterhouses and factory farms at Smithfield, it will help even the employees of Smithfield. It's win-win-win for all of us. It's just our job to help them understand that message. Eileen is saying happy birthday, Wayne Hsiung. Thank you so much, Eileen. I really appreciate it. I'm seeing if there are any other comments. Sivrata is saying come to Poon. Maybe I will come to Poon someday when I get a little free time, which, I don't know, maybe that's not very likely to happen. But if it does happen, I'll come see you in India, and I'll work with the animal rights activists there. Maybe we can even do a rescue. All right, I think that's all I have to say. So again, thank you all very much for wishing me a happy birthday. Thank you all very, very much for chipping into my birthday fundraiser. I know so many of you have, in fact, I think it's hundreds of people have chipped into my birthday fundraiser. I'm hoping we're going to actually let it go until Sunday because my birthday party is until Sunday. We were going to have a birthday party last weekend, but I ended up having to meet with some Hollywood producers and some VIPs out in Southern California last week, including a bunch of activists and organizers in San Diego and Los Angeles. So that was awesome. And I was so excited to meet all of you. But I am going to be continuing with this birthday fundraiser in the next week because my goal is to build up enough power, enough resources so this movement can not just survive but thrive if I'm out of commission, which is, not just possible, but unfortunately pretty likely. So again, please share this live stream, stay in touch, and I'll see y'all next time. Okay, bye.